This is what I'm calling the ThinkSlab. It's a fully portable, battery-powered computer designed to run AI models. It's been my passion project for a while, so a lot of work has gone into creating it. Here's why I made it.
Artificial intelligence is about to be the next giant leap forward in humanity's progress. Over the last few years, it's been taking the world by storm, and the largest tech companies like OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft have followed suit with their own models. But what if I told you that every AI chatbot you've ever used shares a weakness? A weakness so critical that it renders every chatbot completely useless. This is the story of how I was confronted with this very issue, and decided it was finally time to step up and do something about it.
Wait, what even is this weakness you're talking about?
I'm getting there, just trust me. Cue the music, because this story begins at Walmart.
It was a Friday night, and my favorite mouse had finally stopped working. I had an hour before I needed to get on with the boys, and I didn't have a mouse. In a rush, I hopped in my car and drove to the nearest Walmart to grab one. When I got to the tech section, I was faced with a dilemma. In front of me sat two mice. On the left was my old mouse, just repackaged and brand new. It's wired, super light, and durable, ideal for gaming. On the right sat the mouse I'd been eyeing for a while. It's wireless, white, and ergonomic, great for productivity. However, it's double the price of the old mouse. Which one do I choose? I thought about it for a moment, compared the specs, weighed the options, got a feel for the both of them, yet both seemed equally suitable. I couldn't choose. But then, I remembered. I'm in 2026. All of the information on Earth has been condensed into an AI assistant that fits in the palm of your hand. The AI could help me choose. I poured every thought, every detail, every variable into my prompt, desperate for at least a shred of help with my problem. I submitted my prompt and got this. Remember when I said every AI chatbot has a weakness? The weakness starts here, on your phone. The AI chatbots you use don't run locally off your phone. Whenever you interact with an AI, a data center has to perform anywhere from 100 billion to easily over a trillion calculations just to produce a single word of that response. Since your phone isn't powerful enough to run AI locally, you rely on these data centers to do the calculations for you. So without Wi-Fi, you couldn't use a chatbot like you normally could. This is a big problem. So I'm in Walmart. There's no Wi-Fi and I need help choosing my mouse. If only there was some portable computer, one that was small enough to run AI, work like a smartphone. Hang on. I have an idea. This is a Raspberry Pi. It's a tiny computer designed to pack power and performance into a form factor that can fit in a wallet. For just shy of $60, you can surf the web, play games, and locally run AI models. Next, I'm gonna need a way to interact with it. Since I'm going for portability, I can't just use a mouse and keyboard. Maybe a trackpad? Too slow. Oh, what about voice control? It would get annoying in public though. Wait, some operating systems can use an on-screen keyboard, so I'll just use a touchscreen. Nowadays, you can get touchscreens for pretty cheap, so I got this one off Amazon for $35. The good thing about touchscreens is that I don't have to buy both a screen and a method of control, since they're combined into one. This not only cuts down on costs, but it also makes the design smaller. Lastly, I need a way to power it. Powering a computer by itself already takes a tremendous amount of power. Since I'll not only be powering a computer under high load, but also a touch screen and a cooling fan, I'm gonna need a good power supply. And thankfully, I was able to find this power supply with 20,000 milliamp hours of power on Amazon for $50. With this, I should be able to squeeze a couple hours out of the setup if I do everything properly. Now that I have the components to build this device, I need to design a case to hold everything together, like a smartphone. So what are my constraints? First, it needs to be as compact as possible. I want to keep it smaller than an iPad, but not so small to the point where I can't use a touchscreen keyboard. Next, it needs to be simple. According to my favorite industrial designer, Dieter Rams, good design is as little design as possible. In other words, what's the path of least resistance to make the final product meet my standards? Lastly, it needs to be reliable. Alongside simplicity, good design is easy to use. It needs to be easy to build and take apart, and it also needs to work whenever I want to use it. Alright, now how do I arrange these? Well, the touchscreen is the largest piece, so I'm going to place it at the front. Then the power bank can be mounted right behind the screen as they're the same length. Wait, where does the Pi go? If I put it here, it'll stick out the side. If I turn it, the USB ports aren't accessible. If I want it to stay inside while keeping the ports out, I'll have to move the whole battery back, making it way too thick. For almost a week, I struggled with the layout of these parts. Every way I arranged them, something was either in the way, too thick, or it would just feel ridiculous to hold. Something had to change. But what? One day after school, I was scrolling on social media. The ThinkSlab was at the back of my mind, and I had other priorities to focus on. I scrolled my YouTube homepage for a while, until I stopped. Someone had made a video on the very project I've been working on for weeks. My idea was taken. The video had garnered over 100,000 views in just a few days. If I posted something now, people might think that I stole it. That's what I thought, until I saw what this person used to make their AI assistant. This tiny battery, produced by a Chinese company called Pi Sugar, was just what I needed. Even though it only carried a quarter of the power, it wasn't only dirt cheap, but it was also so compact that it could shrink my initial design by 50%. I rushed back to the video to see who made it, and then I realized this was a promotional video made by Pi Sugar themselves. After taking some inspiration from their setup, I not only had a smaller power supply, but my idea was still usable. With these new parts, the arrangement was clear. Put the Pi at the bottom, slide the battery up here, exhaust fan here, this is it. Over the next 7 days, I put all of my free time into developing a way to put these parts together. I revised the design countless times, finding new ways to make it better, and every revision brought me closer to a finished product. After some assembly, configuration, and finishing touches, it's done. I know that you're curious about this thing's capabilities though. For this test, I'll be running Gemma 2 2B, which I found is the best balance of accuracy and speed for this setup. I should mention that the performance will not be considered good by today's standards. This is a $50 computer with no dedicated graphics processor, 4GB of RAM, and a small battery instead of a wired power source. A cluster capable of running the AIs you use daily will set you back a few $1,000,000, so I'd say that slower speeds are a decent trade-off for that price. Honestly, that wasn't bad. It took 2.6 seconds to process my prompt, and ran at 2.1 tokens a second from start to finish. Next, how long does it run while idling? While idling, it ran for 75 minutes. Okay, it could be better, but considering that I did zero optimization to conserve power, this isn't bad, and it's a good start for what I need it to do. You know, now that I think about it, I still have some unfinished business to handle. Since I now have a portable computer capable of running AI, I shouldn't need Wi-Fi this time. what could be improved? First, and most obviously, these cables need to be hidden. One of the biggest problems I encountered while working out the design and shopping for parts was cable management. Okay, I'm gonna keep this as short as possible. Editor West here. One thing you guys need to know about me is that I procrastinate sometimes. A lot. So I designed the ThinkSlab right here back in October of 2025. This was before I knew how to use GPIO and other methods of connection and how to make cables look cleaner, how to account for airflow better. So with that being said, this explains why the pie sugar part of the story with the YouTube channel posting that one video that I was like, oh, it's stealing my idea. Yeah, so that explains why that's dated really weirdly, because none of this is recent. A lot of this stuff was filmed and written back months ago, almost half a year ago or longer. That's why the visual language changed a lot throughout the video, because I chose to film as I wrote the script. Terrible idea, never do that. But I'm gonna do better in the future, I promise. TLDR, I procrastinate a lot. This design is kind of outdated. A lot of the story is outdated, but I'm gonna do better. So enjoy the video. I didn't have a way to store some of the larger cables inside the case cleanly, so that's why I had the big cable box on the back. I used it to store and route the cables that would normally be hanging out. Second, how do I make it smaller? My initial goal with the ThinkSlab was to make it small as an iPhone, so you could fit it in your pocket. But due to a lot of poor choices and of course cable management, a thick battery, the screen being way bigger than I anticipated, it wasn't possible. There just wasn't much I could do to shrink it with the parts available within my budget and with the money I'd already spent. I know, bad choices. Third, how can it run cooler? Right now, under load, temperatures seem to plateau around 70 degrees Celsius. While it's acceptable, it could be a lot better. If I could find a way to pump a lot of air directly onto the pie while efficiently mitigating heat, it could not only increase longevity, but up the performance a lot. I've already looked into using those pre-made heat sinks and coolers with fans attached to them, but the way they were designed would require a larger case. Lastly, how could it look better? For this project, I prioritized function. I wanted a touchscreen. This means that for some parts of the design, corners were cut to make it smaller or easier to use. And while I do think it looks pretty cool like this, there's a lot of refinement to be done before this could even be considered at a large scale. And a bonus improvement that I didn't write on the script, because again, the script is old, the software could be so much better. Right now, it's running off of the default Raspberry Pi OS with pretty much no custom settings. When I made the ThinkSlab, I didn't know much about software development. So there's no custom GUIs. It's the default Raspberry Pi terminal with the default Raspberry Pi keyboard. So if I were to revisit the ThinkSlab, that would be my first priority, making the software a lot better, getting rid of a lot of the bloatware that comes on Raspberry Pi OS, and just making it a more streamlined experience. It would make the entire ThinkSlab a lot better. For tips, opinions, advice, business offers, or if you just want to say hi, my email will be down in the video's description if you want to reach out. It's also going to be my channel's about me if you prefer to do things that way. Thank you so much for your time, YouTube, and this was Built by West.